Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, fixture on the show this evening is your Robert, evening Robert, and the one and only Bridgeman.
Evening Ox, evening Bridgeman. Good to be on yourself. Looking forward to the show tonight, mate.
Yeah. Evening Bridge. I started off well tonight. It's a personal best.
Oh, I'm nearly there. So good evening yourself, Oxshare, and to you, Robert, of course, and the techie boys in the background. And what can I say? Good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio.
Do you know the worst about it when he's on mute, Robert?
What's that?
He answers himself.
Keep an interesting conversation he's having.
Yes. All right, so Bridge was on Monday. Robert, your take on the last week at the club, and then we'll move on to the day, mate, yeah?
Aye, of course, mate. Obviously, Sunday, difficult fixture. Plus the weather conditions, I thought the performance overall was comfortable. Dominated again. That's back-to-back games. 4 goals, clean sheet on both occasions. So, pleased with what I saw, mate. Some real good football at times, particularly in the conditions. We got to have the ball on the deck, play it a lot more rather than kind of going long balls because of the conditions, which was good. A lot of good individual performances. Obviously, a few controversies involved as well, mate. Players getting hit as well and things like that, which we don't want to see from any kind of side of supporters in the game. So that's disappointing. The goal that was chopped off wrongly, in my opinion. I don't see anything wrong with that at all. So again, comfortable win, mate. Should have been more goals, but it's an important 3 points because, as you keep saying, the pressure keeps building in these games. And aye, it's been a good week for the club in general. These victories keep rolling on.
And you're taking in the early signing, mate?
Aye, well, he's came with a bit of a kind of reputation. He's a young boy. He's brought a lot of physicality to the squad already. We can see that in him. He's quite built. He's 6'1", 6'2", so bring a lot of height as well at that midfield. I think it's an important time he's come in as well, given the injury to Barron. So hopefully we get to see him on Friday night, mate. I know it's against Annan, but it'll be good to get some minutes in his legs, and you can build from there. But certainly a guy that's young, he's got potential, and I think he'll bring quite a lot to the club. And hopefully we'll see what he can bring in those games ahead. All
right, okay. So, Bridgeman, lots and lots of speculation, lots and lots of rumours. WhatsApp groups are buzzing, social media's buzzing, and then we makes the second signing, and I hope I pronounce this right. Tor Romans, a left back, mate. Perfect sense to me because we've not get any cover. He's our player, so if he does fit the bill, we've sorted that. Depends what happens with young at home, if he stays with us, if he goes or whatever. But at the moment, he's only here for the year. So then we need another left back in instead of 2. So there's a lot of sense in that signing, mate. How good he's going to be, as I keep saying, I don't know, Bridge. But the actual position that we've signed the player for is logical in my thinking.
Yeah, I think we badly need a left back. Young Magomi, or whatever you call him, he's played quite well. But you can see sometimes in the games, he's not actually a left back per se. He's maybe been a wing back in the greatest sense of the word. But no, he's not a left back. And I'm looking for, you've heard me saying it all the time, I'm looking for somebody 6'1", 6'2". That's what I'm looking for your fullbacks, and 6'5" for the centre backs. That's what I'm looking for. And I'll be delighted. I hope the guy gets in quickly, or gets over his wee bit knock at his head, and I hope he gets back into the game, into playing football, and we've got a good place for him there at left back.
Well, disappointing you, mate. I believe he's about 5'11". In your latest signing, Robert.
5'11". Oh
Aye.
dear, sorry. I'm
Imagine.
sorry. I thought you were, was that not the guy that's coming in today?
He's
6 feet.
5'11". I think
Is he?
so, Robert.
I'm talking about the guy that signed. Who's the one that's left back?
Tour Romance.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, he's only 5'11" then.
Only 5'11".
That's my
Only
heart's
5'11",
broken then.
Robert. Only
Aye.
5'11".
5'11", but 6 foot with the studs on, Bridge. No, he's again, Ox. He's a 22-year-old. So to me, there is sense in the signing. Andrew Kavanagh said it after the window shut that we were short, particularly at left back. The depth wasn't there at all. We've seen Aarons play there. We've seen at times Tavernier about there. So it made a lot of sense to go and get a left back. As you say, it's a permanent signing. He's our player. It's not a loan deal. He has got a wee bit of a knock that he's coming back from, so he'll gradually be put into the squad. But again, I think there's a lot of potential in the boy. He's represented Belgium under 21s and he's captained them as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes as well. I think he said in his interview today that he likes to get forward, but he's also good at defending as well. But again, he fits the profile of the age, the potential. Play well for us, be successful, and there could be a bit of a cash profit in the future, depending how he does, and hopefully he does do well.
Aye, well, hopefully you've got that problem because that means that people are doing well, the team's doing well. I get it. Don't want to flip somebody in a month. I seen a bit of debate today, Robert, where people were saying about him coming in with a knock. But if he's going to boot for say 3 weeks, and I'm just using that as a number. Well, if you didn't sign him to the first day of the window, you wouldn't get him to the first week in February anyway. So you've got him in, you're working on him, he's getting all people, he might be having to do some bits and pieces of training, take parts in drills, etc. And if it is just a knock, mate, it's perfect sense to me, yeah. Get him in with the troops and see where it takes us. Robert?
It makes perfect sense to me, Ox. There,
Aye.
I agree with you there. We don't want to sort of dwell on the injury, but apparently it's a knock. So it might take him a game to get strength back into the leg. But get him in as quickly as possible, even if it's only 20 minutes. Get him in. Don't to start because if he's not fit enough, they don't do it. But get him on the pitch at 20 minutes, suit him. That'll give him a lot. That'll help him.
Aye, see where it goes. And by the way, if I'm honest, young Mahoma's playing quite well. You know, on form, he doesn't commit the team. Yeah, but he's got a challenge now. You back with us, Robert?
Yeah, apologies, mate. Just had a bit of a
That's all
freeze
right,
moment
mate.
there.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So, aye. So, I mean, you know, he's got an knock. We brought him in. Hopefully, it is only a few weeks, and then he's fit. Yeah, the people will hopefully it doesn't continue. Then there'll be a lot of questions asked, but what we know. We'll say where it is, and hopefully that's where we are. And he's back available in February, mate.
Aye, as I said, you're saying, and Bridge is saying, mate, it makes total sense because even if he, obviously today, maybe Friday might come too early, he's not going to be in the European squad, so you're all going to miss him really for that one game against Dundee, and then he's back probably the following week at the end of the month. So you're not really going to notice it as much. Hopefully it is just the kind of 3 week period as a kind of talking sake, but it's not like we're in a rush, as you say. Magoma's been playing well, he's improved, he's developing, and he'll certainly now realise there's a challenge ahead of him. And competition for places is always good, so that will give Magoma hopefully a wee kick as well to push on and fight for the jersey. And that's what you want to have. You want to have at least 2 players in every position available, ready for selection to give the manager headaches. So again, makes sense just to bide his time, get him in. Don't rush him in because if you do that and you aggravate anything, he's out longer, mate. And then that's when you go, what was the point in signing him? Why play him? All the questions come up.
Aye. Even 100% fit players a gamble, but you know you could leave yourself open to criticism as for the process if it doesn't pan out. But we wish him all the best, Bridge. Yeah?
Oh, absolutely. I believe he can play football. So as simple as that. You know, get him in quickly as possible.
I'm hoping that, mate. I'm hoping that.
Aye.
I've got a bit more cynical the longer I've been doing this show, mate. There's been players that have come in and I thought, and I used Rothwell as an example. Seen the profile, seen what he'd done, and I thought he's going to be a good fit here. He's bring experience, neat and tidy, just bring it, make it play, and help for midfield. How wrong was that, Robert?
You're not the only one, mate. I said on the show when the window shut that out of all the signings we've done this summer, he was the one that I was going to look forward to seeing the most because of the reputation that came from, the experience. And it's completely went the opposite direction. It's regressed so far that it's not even in the picture anymore. Doesn't even make a bench when you've got Kieran Dill on a bench these days. So that tells you its own story of how far down the pecking order he is really. Again, as you say, every signing is a gamble, whether you're 100% fit or not. But there seems to be a wee bit of a buzz about this player. Roman's coming in. His manager at Westerlo was obviously Sam Chari, who was your assistant manager, and he's told him to take the opportunity, go for the club. You'll love it, you'll enjoy it, and give him good things about it. So he's recommended us because he knows what it's like to be in this environment. I don't think he would recommend a player that he thinks isn't capable of coping with the pressure and going to excel themselves as well.
Only time will tell. We wish him all the best. Right, I think we'll get the phone lines open. Yes. Are you
Yes,
all right
indeed.
with
Go
that,
for it.
Rich? Quite early, mate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, come
Get
and join
everybody
us.
involved.
Aye. Come and join us. Use your thoughts. How the transfer window's gone. Things are starting to bubble up. You know, there's a lot of speculation. We'll come to you with that, Robert, after we get the phone lines open. Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Left back, a midfielder. So far, so good. Position-wise, Robert, that's the thought. And there's lots of rumours circulating. One particularly seems to be close to the boiler.
Aye, it certainly does, mate. First of all, the positions that a lot of us have spoke about on the show and a lot of supporters have also voiced concerns of was midfield and at left back because of depth. The clubs went and got the two key positions first and foremost, and then as you say, a lot of speculation just now around Andreas Skov Olsen, who's actually been on our radar for a number of years. When Gerrard was back as a manager, I think also Gio tried to get him as well when he was at the club. It just didn't materialise. But from what seems to be reported, mate, it's a loan to buy option. The loan fee will be a 7-figure fee, and then again that option in the summer to make it a permanent move. He's 26, Danish international, a lot of potential, real kind of high caliber player. And I'll be honest, mate, this one excites me. He could, for me, be a game changer in this rest of the season.
You really feel that? You feel that?
I do, mate. I do. I just feel.
What you basing that on, mate? I'm intrigued.
I think it's just when you look at the summer signings, where they came from, they were all kind of English Championship players, players on fringes of teams, youngsters. This guy has got a reputation playing in European football with Bruges predominantly. He had a spell at Bologna as well. He's a Danish international. He's 26. He just fits that right bill. And I just think when you compare him alone to the other signings, there's a bit of a better buzz, a better feeling about it that this could be a real good bit of business by the club to get him on loan with the option to buy to make it a permanent. And as I said, it could just be a game changer. There's just a different feeling for me that he's a standout from anybody we've signed this season.
Are you thinking that there's one in the wide positions coming in and one get out? Is that what you're thinking?
It could be. Again, there's still speculation around Finlay Curtis going out on loan to
I'm
Kilmarnock, but I think
I'm
there's
not.
question
I'm not.
marks
I'm
at
not
Gassama.
classing him.
No.
Him as somebody who's playing for the first team. Are you thinking there could be one in and one out?
I think there could be, but maybe more so in the summer. I think just now with the options we've got, I think if a bid comes in for Gassama, that's the name you're going for here. I think if you're thinking about Gassama, then it would probably have to be quite a good offer, possibly a sell-on fee for me, for him to go now. But I think in the summer there might be a wee bit more interest, and that's why, to me, it's sensible to do the loan to buy in the summer. Because you've got Moore, you've got Antman. I'll be surprised. I'm surprised it's a right mid and not a left mid, because I think Mikey Moore is more effective in the middle as a 10, which only leaves the left side kind of empty, because you're playing Gassama out on the right. Antman's coming back from injury. All those players, they've got differences, they've got different abilities. Moore's still a young boy. To me, Scott Olsen just fits the bill of he's ready-made almost. As I said, he's a Danish international. He moved last January for 12 million. There's just something about this signing that excites me, Ox.
Well, if you're
Is that
excited,
12
I'm
million
excited.
euros?
12
Yeah,
million
euros.
pounds. 12 million
Euros.
pounds.
Pounds. Right, okay.
15 million euros, 12 million pounds.
Right.
Last summer. Sorry,
Wow.
last January from Bruges to Wolfsburg.
Wow. That's 12 million. Boom.
Yep.
Yanks are going to be putting a lot of money into us then, to get that.
Well, we'll not be paying that, but he's still.
No, I'm saying that somebody's valued at that, what, 7 months ago?
Yeah, that's true, mate. That's true. Look, it might be a headline figure of 12 million. There might be add-ons and all sorts, Bridgeman.
Yeah,
You don't know unless you're really in the detail of it.
Yeah, you're right, pal, you're right.
It actually end up paying 6 million. I've got somebody on decent. They've got somebody on big wages and they're not playing them. It's no worked out for them at an individual club. If you think back, mate, I know I'm not saying the boy, he's Danish. There was a Dane who hadn't set the head on fire who came to your club. That people were maybe sceptical when he walked in the door because he didn't do great. He done okay, but he wasn't his brother, and he didn't. And well, he turned out no bad.
No bad, eh? One of our finest signings ever. No bad. I just love it. I just love it. Brilliant.
Aye, so listen, I'm not saying he's the next Laudrup, but you never know, mate. You just never know, and it could go both ways. But well, I take your point, Robert. Gassama's been playing on it right, and obviously Antman's just coming back from injury. Again, he's not hit the ground running. He did hit the ground running and then went backwards, but he's not exactly shone. So it'll be interesting to see what the new manager thinks and what he's trying to do and what he's trying to achieve, mate.
Oh, it certainly will. As we said, we're adding depth and we're adding quality. And we've said it many times, we needed to bring players in that are starters. For me, Scott Olsen starts ahead of Gassama or Antman any day of the week. And I know it's easy to say because neither of the other two have been playing well. I think, as I said, if an offer comes in for Gassama, they may be tempted, but it depends on the kind of structure of the deal for me in terms of future sell-on fees or whatever. Because we only bought him in the summer. He's on a kind of long-term contract. It's a lot of pounds there to be made back, but it'll be interesting to see how he fits it all in. Does the Gassama go back to the left side? Possibly. Does he come out the squad? On form? Very highly likely.
He started a lot of games, mate. He's been involved in most games. You can't criticise him for turning up for his work. He's shown glimpses, but he's been involved in all our decent games, mate. I didn't think he had a great game in Sunday. I can excuse him, difficult conditions. He started off really well, scoring threat. He hasn't scored as consistently, and that people look at you, Bridge. Sometimes you maybe have a good game, don't have a good game, but you pop up with a goal. You get excused with a lot, don't you?
Yeah, indeed. Scoring, any player that can score a goal, invariably, it'll boost his confidence. It'll give him that wee bit of confidence for the tail at the end of the game. And it's good for the team. Obviously, scoring is good for any team, but it's really good for the team when a player can pick up his confidence. And nothing builds the confidence better than a scoring goals. Nothing like it.
Aye, I think he's somebody that could thrive if he gets a few goals, the gas man. But I don't know. I don't know if ultimately Scottish football's going to suit him when I watch him, mate. I don't know your
Well,
take, Robert. Bridge,
sorry,
you come,
pal.
Bridge.
No, I was
You
going
go.
to say, gas man. I've said it the weekend. I've been saying it most weeks. To see him sitting, playing in a right wing position, and he can hardly get past the fullback. It's not for his game. It's not his natural position. Not his favourite position, should I say? And he's always played better when he's on the left. If we move him away from the wide left, then we're losing talent, and we're going to lose. He's going to lose confidence, and his confidence will drop, and things like that. You see what happens to him. He's always claiming somebody's pushed him, pumped him, or whatever. And when he comes in the left, he's attacking. I think it's brilliant. Get him on the left all the time.
Sometimes I think he trips where his lip when he's on the right.
You're not wrong, mate, because at times his attitude's been very, very questionable, and he doesn't hide it. There's games where he just doesn't put in the effort, whether it's being available for a pass, taking a man on his bridge, as saying, or even tracking back, just tracking runners, basics as you get taught as a boy. And I'll be honest, I'm very surprised because he worked with Danny Rule. I thought he'd maybe be the one that stood out the most and kicked on because Danny Rule worked him at Sheffield Wednesday. He developed him enough that we were interested in him to get him the move. And I just thought they two would work well again. Gassama could be that key player going forward, particularly in attack, creating chances. And we've not seen it. We've not seen a glimpse, mate, to be honest with you. He's had moments, as you say, but nothing really is what he was at the start of the season. And that's a worry for me. And I think that's why we've went and looked at another winger and somebody of a higher calibre as well.
That's a bold statement, but I hope you're right, mate, if he's going to become a player,
But I hope so. I'd hope so, mate, because I think these are the kind of signings that our club should be looking at and should be trying to build on. I know finances in the past have prevented things, but when we want to be back in the European fold, back in competing against the big names out there, and we've got to have the best players. And if this guy's available in the summer for a permanent, and the money's right, and he's happy, I mean, he wants to come now for the loan deal. He wants to come to Rangers, which is pleasing to hear, particularly where we've been. But where we are now, I think that's a statement in its own accord that players are looking at us, seeing what Danny Rule's doing with the club and thinking, that excites me. I want to go that challenge. The history of the club speaks for itself. So if we can get him in the summer, mate, I'd be delighted because I think that is the calibre profile that we should be targeting when available.
Bridge?
Yeah, I can't disagree with Robert. He's absolutely right. And I haven't. I'm looking for somebody with talent. That's what I'm looking for. And if we can get somebody with talent in and give them the stage to do it, and the people surrounding them to support them, that's all we need. Like you've seen Big Sharmiti, when he's improved incredibly. The first time it was in, or the first month or so, we thought it was rubbish. How did he get a game for us? And look at him now. He's scoring a couple of goals. He's his head's up. And it's great to watch. It's just great to watch, and he could be a smashing player for us, given the chance. So we must keep playing him. Must get the ball through to him, and make sure we're getting it to the right place. But you see what he does. It's in he badgers and bullies the centre backs, and he'll no stop. He comes right back up to his own half sometimes just to clear the ball. But I think it's wonderful when you get players that can do that, and we must start to give them some belief. Simple as that.
Listen, the team, I think you mentioned it, Robert, about the performance on Sunday. I thought the second half, particularly, was an excellent team performance, yeah. And we kept the ball, we had them chasing shadows. Yeah, we could have scored a couple more goals and maybe with opportunity to make more chances, but the way we controlled it, as soon as we went 2-0 up, they had gone, Robert, yeah.
Aye, there was no getting back in it for them. Again, I know they had some moments and chances in both games we played them, Ibrox and then at Pittodrie, but we've controlled 4 quarters, mate, of a full game each time. So from
Did you
where
mention?
we were,
Did you mention 4 quarters there?
I did.
Well done, the 49ers there.
Oh, aye. Could be the
Carry
year,
on,
eh?
mate. Carry on, mate.
MD going for a 49ers and a Rangers double.
Aye. Knocked out the holders, didn't he?
I did, aye.
Aye. Carry on, mate.
No, as I say, mate, we controlled both games, particularly against Sunday, because of the conditions. It was always going to be a tricky fixture. There was a lot of kind of things going on from the stands to the players. They handled it well, and they kept the same level of performance up. Aye, there was times where there was, as I said, Aberdeen get moments and chances, but the large part, mate, controlled it very, very well. And I think that's down to the belief that's installed in these players from Danny Rule, from the coaching staff as well, that they can go and control games, that they're not going to be overrun. They can work back, and when they're on the attack, they play some good football at times. We can create chances, and we're starting to gel as a real proper team. There's unity, there's togetherness, and you can see it. Celebrations, effort from everybody. Some players need to still have their moments where they just need to come to the floor a bit more. I get that, and we're not the finished article. But overall, mate, the improvements are there to see. And it's been quite as we keep saying, a remarkable turnaround. But the belief, the confidence in these group of players that, 16, 17 weeks ago, it was shot, it was done, there was nothing. That's down to Danny Rule, the coaching staff. So credit to them and credit to the players as well for going and effectively seeing games out and winning them.
This will be a big test. I'm going to ask Bridge a question, and this will tell you where we are. Bridgeman, do you like the Danny Rule song?
I do, aye. Yes.
Yeah.
I like it, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's always a good judge, because when Warburton was doing well, you loved his song, didn't you? I thought he was going to start singing there, Robert.
He's just getting the microphone ready. He's going
no,
to gear up for it.
No. All my days of singing is over. Danny.
You remember the original number, Bridge?
Yeah. I've danced to that a few times.
There you go. There's a scientific poll. Danny Role's doing well, Robert.
I don't think anybody can say he's not, mate. I mean, from day one, he walked in the door. I said that a couple of shows. As soon as he walked in the door, he engaged with the fans right away, and the fans took to him. He's took to the fans. But importantly as well, the players have taken to him right away, because this run that we've been on wouldn't be possible if they didn't believe in his coaching and his ideas. And there's been times where performances haven't been great. There's been a few blips in the road, but we're in a position. And again, it's just, for me, shows you how badly wrong we got it in the summer. Let's be clear, we got it horribly wrong. But that had to happen to get Danny Rule here now. And I think we can all say, with what he's got so far, bar the additions that have come in over the past couple of days and will continue to come in, hopefully, he's worked wonders with the same group of players that we questioned all first half of that season, the first part of that season, and he's worked with them. He's got them playing. So you've got to give him credit. Might not be people's choices right away when the name was mentioned, but he's starting to really, really show that he's got the, as you say, the cojones, mate, to come and manage your club.
I was really worried that this season could peter out, mate, and the window where we try to bring players in to start again. And now we've got excitement as guys come in the door. I really didn't see it coming. And fair play to the players, and fair play to the manager and his coaching staff. Bridgeman for getting us where we are. Now it's about kicking on, eh?
100%, yes. And now I think, as Robert said there a bit earlier, where everybody's just delighted the way the team are playing. Oh, we want better, of course, but considering where we were, it's like night and day, isn't it? It's really night and day. Now you're seeing some players saying they look as if they're looking not too bad on the pitch, and before that you were saying, "Oh no, we don't want to see them." But no, I think the big boy at centre half, Fernandez, he's got a bit about him, you know. I think so anyway. And of course, the big Shamiti we just mentioned earlier. They make a big difference. You've got somebody in defence that I'm not saying he's a brilliant, the best centre half in the world, but he can break up the high balls, particularly outside the box. Difficult when they're inside the box, as always, you know. But I really like him. I think he's smashing. And we've got. I'm really pleased for Tavernier. Tavernier's come back. He's got a wee bit of form about him now, you know. So really good. I'm very happy with all the boys.
Aye. Listen, if you go back 2 months, there wasn't a player we wanted to keep, Robert. Maybe Gassama was the one who was just shining like now. You're saying, well, like Fernandez has got something about him. Chermiti scores a few more goals over the season, gets maybe double figures and kicks on for there. You're saying maybe he's not as bad as we first thought. Yeah, you know. So it's been a strange season, if nothing else. Yeah, it's not been dull.
No, it's
Definitely not, Paul.
certainly not been dull. And I don't think it'll get dull anytime soon as well. There's still a long way to go. There'll be twists, there'll be turns, but we are right in contention. Again, as you say, there's players that have started to contribute, show their worth. Chermiti started to show what he can bring. It's not the finished article by a long shot, but his hold-up play's improved. He's running about more. He looks fitter to me, Ox. He looks like he's more mobile than what he was at the start. Whether that's just came over game time. He's contributed by scoring goals. He's linking up with players. Fernandez is a threat in both boxes. It looks more. He's maturing in every performance you see him. Magoma's starting to kind of show as well that for a young boy, he's got the potential there. So there's a lot of individual players that have really stepped up and came to the floor. And as you say, before we were saying, well, nobody really are worth keeping. Who can we keep? No many. Whereas now you're going, keep him, and build on him. So there's a lot of players that you can now start to see maybe they could just cut it out.
Aye, listen, you don't go through a league campaign and play all the cups, maybe 50, 60 games, bridging and play well in every game. You know, and
No.
confidence is a big factor. Eh?
Absolutely, pal. That confidence and attitude, and I dare say you get one of them for the other as well. You know, if you've a good attitude, you get confident to go and do what you need to do. And if you're good at what you do, you'll get confidence. That's really good. I just think I'd like to see that young boy Mikey Moore ask for another loan to come to Rangers for another season, because I think he's sparkling. You know, I think he's really, really good. But from where he was really poor. I thought he was one of the poorest players we've ever had on loan, form-wise. But my goodness, he can't have step out now. Really pleased for him. Really pleased. I would like to see him staying, but that's, as we spoke about this earlier, it's too much for the purse, too much for the Rangers purse.
He's got something about him. I think initially you're thinking he ain't ready, you know, Robert, you know. He doesn't look as if he's going to be physically ready. There's been games where it's passed him by, but he's shown glimpses that he's got ability. And you could say that about a few of the players, Asgard as well. He's got technical ability. You can see that even when he has a bad game. And he showed it with that goal he scored against the D United. I mean, you know, you've got to have ability to do that. But it's all about consistency and attitude, isn't it?
Was that me or Robert? Sorry.
You can come in as well, Bridge, no hassle.
Okay, I didn't want to jump in. No, yeah, I think you're right. It's look, each player that we've got on the park now in every position, they know what the position's about. They know what they have to do. And what we don't want is we don't want another two players going out for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. You know, they need to be able to play their game and maintain their fitness. I just don't like to see Big Sterling, for instance, having to go out injured, and that's just not right, you know. So if we can get a right back as well as a left back now, we'll do well. We'll do well because we really need to get
think-
somebody that's going to take over from Tav, you know.
I think the Stirling one, hopefully he'll be available by the Dundee game bridge.
Oh, aye.
Yeah. So hopefully that was just part of his rehabilitation, Robert. Nope. Aye. But I get your having technical problems. I get your point, Bridge. You know, Stirling, as much as I like him, yeah. His attendance record isn't the best, is it? He wouldn't got a book at the display, would he?
No. It's a sin for him. I really do feel it, because he's a big, strong laddie, and he's not scared to sort of fight his own corner. But you know, when you see him, I don't even think there's been a bad tackle on him to say, you know, look at that, he's injured again. It's his own injuries. To me, it is. It's just his own.
It's one
Maybe he's
thing
doing
after
too
another,
much.
mate, and then he's come back. I just think that sometimes you chase the injuries, mate. Once you get one,
That's it. Yeah.
you know, you chase it. You know, you get that back, then something else tweaks because you're working that too hard. And
Yeah.
I think it was I don't know if it was Dodds or McCann said that he actually done it on a sprinkler last April, mate.
Is that right?
You know, so so that's just real bad luck, isn't it?
Oh, in fact, it is. Yes, in fact, it is. Because these things are not supposed to be seen. Never mind injure somebody, you know.
Aye. You back with us, Robert?
Yes, mate, apologies. Need to put 50p in this meter again.
Showing in the
Happens to the
meter.
business.
50p bridge. How long would that ago you back in the day? Oh,
Yeah, I remember it was a penny in a meter. There you go. A brown penny, an old one. Wow. Shilling the meter right enough. I was watching, by the way, I was watching one of these quizzes, and they were saying, asking the person a question about different coinage, different coins. And so the shilling was mentioned, and I thought, this person's not going to be able to answer that. The look on the lassie's face, so I think she was only about 21 or something like that. That's shilling. Not been seen since 1971.
no. Aye, different calculations, different countings. Yeah,
Absolutely,
three
pal.
decimal.
Three decimal, exactly, yeah.
I suppose the disappointing for you is with the old money that took you longer to count your money. You'd get more pleasure with it, wouldn't you?
That's the truth, by the way. That's the truth.
Dear. But just out of curiosity, have you still got a lot of old money kicking about?
I've got a jar with old money in it, but I think it's primarily silver. I know I've got another wee jar somewhere with old pennies in it, you know. But they'll get, what do they call that stuff? It used to come out green, with the copper going green, you know. It's just, so they're a bit dirty. I need to get some cleaning on them if I can go and see them again. My wife will just maybe chip them out, you know.
Throwing money away. Oh,
That's exactly it. Exactly.
they'll have a minute's silence in the bridge house if he throws money away, Robert.
So don't tell me, of course. So throw it away and don't tell me. It's all right for
Can't be
you
flinging-
two.
Can't be flinging money in this day and age. Hard times out there.
Oh, listen,
But it's like
when
foreign
he used
currency,
to
you
sing,
know.
when they used to sing, they used to throw coins on.
They did as well. They did as well.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Right, okay. So where do you so far the transfer window? I think it's went okay because you're always worried that these things are going to be the last minute, Robert.
Aye, it's always a worry. But I've always said, mate, if it needs to take the time to get the right player in, then so be it. But I like how we've went about the business. I think if when you hear interviews for the two we've signed already, there's been conversations being had where they kind of the scouts and the I think Roman's mentioned today the sporting director. So I don't know when they talks have actually initiated, if that was Farewell or not, or the Stig we'll call them. But they both mentioned conversations with Danny Rule a few months ago as well. So certainly the work's been done, the homework's been done, they've had conversations and we've brought them in at, for me, the right time. I think Danny Rule had mentioned that in his interviews when he was always asked about it. The timing of the signings is important. We've lost Connor Barron, we're bringing in a midfielder. We're late at left back, we're bringing a left back in a period where you can afford to have him miss these games. As I said, I don't think he would have been involved in Friday, might have came too early. Not involved in the European game, so you're missing maybe one game. So I think that timing makes sense as well to get them in the door. But so far, so good, mate. And it doesn't seem to be stopping or slowing down anyway, that's for sure.
No, if this third one that Oxen boy that you mentioned, mate, looks as it's been strongly tipped by a lot of people, and all of a sudden you've got three in, and that was my original target, to get 3 first teamers in. So obviously if you get 4 in, that's a big transfer window in this time of the year, mate, in my opinion.
Aye, I think in any window, but more so in a January window, because we know how tough it can be. Not a lot of players are available. None are really, normally, none are really ready to go. But the guys are coming in. Well, the 2 we've signed have been playing football. I know Romans has had an injury. He's missed 7 games this season due to an ankle knock. I think that's the reason that it'll be a bit of time before we see him in the squad fully. But aye, they're playing football, so they're fit, they're ready to go. The boy Chukawani, I think he'll play on Friday. Whether he starts or not, different story, but I think he'll get some minutes in the legs. And if we can get Scott Wilson in, I know he's had a bit of a knock as well. But again, these guys have played football this season for their respective clubs before coming to us. And I think that's important that they're ready to go.
Aye. Listen, mate, I wish them all the best, and if there's any merit of this coming, this will be really, really positive for the first team squad, hopefully. And I think people will look and say the board are back to manager, Bridge.
Well, looks like it, yeah, and so they should have as well. I must say, they put us through the ringer with Russell Martin. I must admit, that was a terrible time for the club and the fans, and even the board. They must have been having puppies going, what on earth is going on here? But they made a big difference with this boy. It's Danny Rue, brilliant up to now, brilliant, and he's got my support anyway. That's for sure.
Right, come and join us. Let's hear from you.
While you are sitting listening on your own, why not take part and give us a phone? We would love to hear your points of view, so get off your bum and call 0141 356 1972.
Can you sing that one, Bridge?
Oh, I could sing that all right, boy. That's a hit for the bridge, man. That's a hit for the bridge, man. That's brilliant. It's just brilliant. I love all these songs that the club's got going for them. I like that. That's a really good one. And I think that should be played every night. Every night. A wee reminder to the ones sitting there that would like to phone in but won't or can't or whatever. Just pick up the phone and dial it. What was the number again, Robert?
0141 356 1972.
No tune in your voice at all. Very flat.
If I sing, mate, the listeners would turn us off.
Get off your bum. I just love it. I like all the song. I like Mind the Magic Hat, Oxtail.
Yes, you loved that one, didn't you?
I loved it. Aye, brilliant.
That was a bad era for me with you with the Magic Cat. Every time I met you, it cost me a fortune. Fines, engines.
Brilliant. Love it.
It's true, isn't it?
Well, actually, it wasn't me. It was Foxy, really. And we have to say that and give credit where credit's due. It was Foxy that caused the problems for you. But
It was quite entertaining, but wasn't it?
it was, pal. It was. Well, what can we say?
It was,
We can't say too much.
No. Can afford to go we used to on the side. It cost me a fortune.
Just go.
Wrong.
You're all right down there. I go this way all the time.
And then goes, oh, but I used to drive a taxi.
You know, but listen there, we're fuming at you.
I was fuming at him.
I bet you were, pal. I bet you were.
You know, my comedy gold. Aye. So, look, we keep it going. There's another question. There's a Yankee this younger. Yeah. The seesaw, if you like, Robert. I mean, there is potential. I'm hoping that Rothwell's going to go to Sheffield United because I think that'd be a good fit for both parties, mate.
Aye, it certainly would, mate. And I'll be surprised. I'm surprised he's not away yet, to be honest with you, mate. I think that was quite highly and heavily speculated before the window opened. So surprised it's not came to fruition as of yet, but hopefully it does materialise into something. Or another club, if they want to take him as well. Please do.
Aye. And I think that's the way to go, innit? It all makes sense. Not a good fit. It's no work to it. They hurt me, the boy. Well, he's not a boy, but it's just no work to it. Yeah.
Aye, and he's not the first and it won't be the last that comes to a club and it doesn't work out. There's been bigger names and bigger players that have came up to a club into Scottish football and it's not materialised. So for the sake of us, get him off the wage bill, for the sake of the boy himself, or the guy himself to go and play football, it makes sense for both parties just to shake hands, move on.
Aye. Bridgeman, your thoughts if that was to happen?
Oh God, don't ask me these questions. I can't answer these things, you know. I don't know how serious you're meaning these things.
Well, Joe Rothwell was to leave.
I'm saying, I was just going to say, Joe Rothwell's been a myth. He's actually been a myth with us. I think he's maybe played one decent game. I don't even know he's actually played a 90-minute stint yet. But he's only played one decent game, maybe two. That's it. Other than that, I think he's been a disappointment. Let's put it that way, without being too nasty. I think he's been a disappointment. And you know, I think he might be thinking that this team that he's playing in is a disappointment. He might be thinking that himself. But no, you know, we've spoke about this before. He came with a good reputation for being the type of midfield player that we've actually needed. Someone that can pick the ball up and run. And we know he can do it because he's done it a couple of times and he can shoot. But he never did it. Hardly did any of the shooting, you know. I think it was just a major disappointment to us, in my opinion. And maybe we left him for 6 months and let him get his fitness and his match fitness and get ready with the crowd and so on and so forth. But my goodness gracious, he hardly turned the light on for us, you know, in my opinion.
I agree with you, Bruce. He just never looked fit, Robert, did he?
Yeah.
No, he didn't. And there's no excuse for that, Ox, because he had played a lot of games with Leeds in the Championship. He got them promoted. He was quite a key figure in their promotion as well to the Premier League. So it's not like he's come in out the cold. There's no excuse for kind of not being fit. He had a full pre-season with us. I think, as Rich says, he had one decent, if you want to label it, game. I think that was a Panathinaikos game where, not spectacular, but he done things that looked simple, cut out passing lanes, got the ball, recycled it. Just simple stuff for a holding midfielder you expected. But as Bruce said, it's just, I mean, he hardly turned, never mind turned on a light bulb.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Then you've got the guys who maybe the fans would because of their contract is you get Matondo and Dow, depending on their attitude, I don't suppose would be too hard to deal with.
No, but the issue you've got there, Ox, is because they've not been involved in the club. Who's looking at them? A team can't come and watch him and say he's been okay. We'll take a punt on him because they've not been involved. So it's hard to get these kind of guys off the book when they're not contributing to the team. They're not being showcased, is what, if you want to call it, on the pitch. So they'll be sitting comfortable until the summer, unless somebody comes in and just takes them now, which I hope they do, because again, it's not worked out for them, and there's no point sitting here wasting money that we can go and use elsewhere for players that can contribute to the team.
I believe, without checking it out, they're both in the final 6 months of their contract now, so I'm just saying it wouldn't be hard to deal with, in my opinion, but they're taking a hefty wage bridge. I don't think they'll sign unless for somebody else, unless the deal's right for them. That's modern football, isn't it?
Well, of course, yeah. Deal's got to be right for the buyer, and the buyer's got all the power, haven't they? That's the truth. But I do I agree with the sentiment. I hope that his reputation down in England is still quite good, so that someone will come in and buy him, Rothwell, because it'd be good for him, good for the club, and good for the club he goes to. Because I do believe he's maybe played in the Championship or something like that at a half decent level, and he would still fit right back into there because he's come up to Rangers and he should have been setting the heather on fire here because we didn't have the strongest side, but maybe the problem was that our side wasn't strong enough to support him. As simple as that. So let's hope he goes and he gets a chance.
Yeah, listen, it's just no work to it. It happens, people don't on a good fit, don't go on with their teammates, whatever reason, wife doesn't settle. Yeah, she's nipping the head off you. Not that happens in real life, does it? So, whatever, you don't know, it's just no work to it. Maybe you would say it's a short-term thing. And if he does move on, you've got to actually doff your hat to him in some respects, Robert, because there's other players where they just sat there for the length of their contract, yeah.
Well, that's what it boils down to, is you as a footballer, do you want to sit and earn money not playing, or do you want to go and play football? Now, modern day it's the money aspect, but if you really want to be playing games, enjoying your time as a footballer, because as we know, time waits for no man and your career comes to an end. So if you want to go and play football for the rest of your days, then you've got to say, well, it's best I move on, just for their own sakes as well.
I don't disagree with any of that, Rich.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to disagree with that. No. But I think the same could be said about Matondo. I think Matondo could actually fit in to the Championship down in England. He's a Welsh international and things like that. So I think he would fit in. I'm so upset when I think about all the talent in the world that boy had. Smashing player, but he never, for some reason or other, he just stopped adapting himself to it. Scored some lovely goals for us, some really good play, made himself available, and so on and so forth. And then other nonsense. So I think the sooner we can let him walk out the door, the better as well. Well, maybe don't. I'm not say stand on your toes there, Ox.
No, not at all, mate. Not at all. Wouldn't have been the first time you stood on my toes, mate.
A shocker.
Then the time he came off his toes when he said, "Doc, you're going to get that round in."
All right.
I've told the story on here. We were in and Briggs said, order up the drinks, what you want, and then he walked away and said, Docs, get that. Well, fair enough, Rich. Didn't even blush, Robert. Didn't even blush. It was too busy entertaining.
What a shocker, I'm telling you. What a shocker.
I'm not telling them about the story on the subway bridge. Remember that one?
Aye. Some folk wouldn't believe that, would they?
Yeah, I'm Bridgeman for Rangers Radio, telling all how God I was standing right beside them and they noticed me.
No, but he's not telling you, but I was asked a question. Are you Bridgeman? I said, aye,
That's
I'm
true, that's
Bridgeman
what I
for
am.
Rangers
That's what I am.
Radio, aye.
He was
And then I
holding
look
court.
up and there's Oxtair there. Brilliant. Really brilliant.
There
Good
you
company,
go.
by the way, Robert. Oxtair's good company.
Oh, I know, mate. I know. He's taught me well. Show me the centre of the universe, mate. I've got to say that. He's told me to say it.
You had an education, Robert, didn't you?
I in one night, aye.
There you go. It's only just started, mate. You ain't seen nothing yet.
Loosen the range the next time.
Aye,
Has he
that's what
changed you to a
quite well-
Partick person, Robert?
It was quite well behaved for me.
I toned him down a wee bit last time.
Aye, well, we digress. Look, we're looking to get really back in this title race and this momentum to really kick on, Robert. Hopefully these new players will help us. And I think a lot of us are probably thinking, right, if these are players that Danny wants, they're going to improve the team because Danny wants them. It can only be good, mate.
Aye, hopefully that is the way it pans out, mate. As we say, like every signing is a risk, whether it's somebody chosen by the manager or if it's somebody that was already in mind previously. But at the end of the day, mate, I think coming into the environment that we've got at the moment, we're on the trajectory, we're on the up, we're winning games. There's a lot of good business getting done kind of off the park as well. Things are starting to get put in place. There's a more relaxed and feel good factor. And for any new signing, that's a lot better to walk into than what it could have been. If you take where it was in October to now, then it would have been a different kettle of fish. So
Do they players come? Do they come if we're in the same position we were in October?
I don't think so. I don't think so at all, mate. I think, as I said, you look at it now, we're second, we're on their heels. There's belief in the players. You can see what Danny Rio's done in a short space of time. Players realise that. And if they think, well, if he's got them from there to there, where can he take me as a player? And I like to think that's something they've looked at as well. He spoke to them individually. He believes in them, which will give them confidence as well to come in, do the best job they can do for your club. And if they are starters and they perform well, as you say, hopefully it kicks on from here on in. I just think the whole feeling around the club right now is a lot more positive. The signings are coming in. There's a lot of positivity, mate, that it can only go up. There might be blips in the road, but I think you look at Hearts' game, that was a blip. But the response after that to go on the win and run again of 5 games, clean sheets involved as well, that just, to me, emphasises how big a job Danny Rio's actually done with this squad. And players will notice that and want to come into that as well.
Would you think that as well, Bridge, if we were where we were, these players might not have came? That's a strong possibility.
Yeah, I did think that. I think we've been very fortunate that some players have came with us instead, and I'm turning out as we go into the next year here. It's starting to look a bit better for us and the players. May I say? I don't know if you're speaking about these new signed players. I do apologise if I miss you out here. I think they're desperate to come in and see it because they want to be part of a team that's upwards and it's upwardly mobile, as you say. They're on the crest of a wave to a certain extent, and you've got to fight your way into this team. That's what they've got to do. They've got to come here and fight their way into the team. They're not going to get just walk. They're not just going to walk in. So they've got to do it from the training ground right into the team, and then join the club, to say, get to know people, and I think it'd be really good for them and good for us. I really do hope it happens. I really do.
I get your point, Robert. I think, it's easy to come in and something's going in the right direction. Fair play to them for joining us. Fair play for the backing we've had for the new ownership so far. 7 million plus wages. Nobody's left the club, so they're back to manager, mate. Back to
Aye, he has, mate, and I think he deserves credit as well because he came out publicly and stated that they made errors, he's rectified mistakes. He's now backing a manager who has earned the backing, if I'm being honest, based on what he's shown so far. So credit to Andrew Kavanagh for highlighting mistakes, rectifying them, and pushing on from here on in. So credit to Andrew Kavanagh as well.
listen, I don't want to your old history, mate, but just before we go to the tune, but I think the mistake they made was just backing the people they put in position and listening to them, and it transpired they got a lot right. I think the head coach was just never looked a good fit for day one for the squad. And then the fans never liked him anyway, so that was just a bad combination all around. Right, so get yourself on mute, because we're going to have a tune.
Sitting listening on your own, why not take part and give us a phone? We would love to hear your points of view, so get off your bum and call 0141 356 1972.
His favourite now, Robert?
Oh, he loves it, doesn't he? He loves it. A masterpiece by the Fox, as always.
I want to ask you, as a younger person, about myself,
Of course.
just your thoughts for the game. There seems to be controversy all over the world about VAR, and people are talking about decisions about VAR more than the games of football, mate.
Aye, they are, which is quite poor because it's meant to be brought in to help the game, and it's caused a lot of issues with it than it is without it. Now, I don't mind VAR itself and what it's meant to do. The issue I've got is it's the officials who are on the park who are then on VAR a following week. So you've still got the same people making errors on a park, then on VAR to make more errors. That's the issue with it for me. It's not just this country. If you see last night, Man City Newcastle game, VAR ruled off a goal for offside.
Aye.
We have had a lot of decisions go our way. 15 disallowed goals this season alone, mate, in 22 games is remarkable. You go to Sunday, Fernandes scores a perfectly good goal. The keeper, for me, he goes into Fernandes because he hesitates in the jump. He backs out it and then gets the foul, which it's not. And the night, I believe there's an incident in one of the games where there's a foul on the goalkeeper and it doesn't go to VAR. And that's all we have asked for. Every time there's been decisions that there's consistency. Because I think Albert touched on it last night. We're not saying it's just us. It's every single team that's getting affected by VAR. But the problem that is caused by VAR is because it's the officials who are getting it wrong on the park, then getting it wrong in a wee room somewhere. So it's never going to change until somebody has got the balls to change it. And that's not going to happen with Cobham, Doncaster, you name it.
No. No, what was I looking at? I just happened to look at something earlier on, mate, and I don't know. Let me just but aye, well, it's changed the game, and maybe a lot of people would say, not necessarily for the better, yeah, not necessarily for the better. It was meant to take all the howlers out the game, where we're getting equally as many of no more howlers, mate, yeah.
Well, the definition of VAR is that they said was it was brought in for clear and obvious errors. If a referee is awarding a goal, so we'll take Sunday for an example. David Dickinson awards the goal. The linesman doesn't flag for a foul, so there's two officials on the park who give a goal. That's not then clear and obvious. So why does VAR have to be involved in every goal that's scored? Because if a referee is making a decision on the park to award a goal, his linesman is basically confirming the goal by not flagging for a foul. Why is it then getting re-refereed by somebody else in a room to say, have a look at that? And I'd like to see more referees stick to their guns. If they think it's a goal on field, then they look at it. No, I'm happy with my decision. I'm going with a goal. I just don't get why it should be every single decision should be scrutinised or looked at, because there's similar incidents, similar fouls, tackles that don't get reviewed. Again, you could look at the weekend, Saturday afternoon, straight red card, blatant red card in my opinion, doesn't even get checked by VAR. There's just inconsistencies across the board for all teams, mate, but us as supporters, of course, we'll highlight our point. I think Albert's touched on it for many, many times in this show. Other teams need to start voicing it up because it's affecting their season. It's affecting us. We're sitting saying here, we should score more goals. Well, we've scored 15 more goals, but they've been chopped off. Some might be correctly chopped off. I'm not saying they're all correct goals, but
No.
you get the point.
I was interested to take your take on it. I'm not even going to ask Prince the same question. I'll rephrase it for Princeman. Princeman, did you think VAR was going to be good for the game?
Yes.
For the game? Yeah.
Good. Yeah, it's got, look, you would think to yourself, it's got to be better than what they're giving us. It's got to be better than what they're giving us. But I don't know what picture they've painted with it. It's definitely not. It's not a portrait anyway. That's for sure. The point Robert made at the beginning about the same people doing VAR. They were the last referee of the game maybe 4 or 5 days ago, and they're on the VAR and the same mistakes, There's the same crowd of referees who do VAR and do the game, and they make the same mistakes on the pitch as they do in VAR. But my problem is, I must admit, I'm slightly different from Robert. I think there's bitterness and hatred against Rangers, and it's all the way through the referees, all the way through. They would rather not give a decision for Rangers. You know what I mean? That makes it easy, they say. That makes it easy. Just don't give them it. As you said, you point out a red card tackle. 100% red card. What's going on? What's for the Rangers? We'll no bother doing it. Penalties? No, I'll not give them it. Now, I'm not saying they don't ever get it, but it's the ones are so blatant that I get it, you know. But dear, oh dear. I just think it's sad that Scotland are stuck in a, shall we say, like a wee microcosm here. We've got these referees. What are we going to do with them? We'll get them VAR, and they can learn what VAR is. They've not learned anything. They've not learned anything. They're supposed to be fair, you know, and impartial. Look at it. There's nothing there. There's no impartiality. There's no fairness. Sorry, guys. I'm away again. I'll ruin your show. Sorry.
Listen, we just want the game to improve, mate, and then, you know, if you win a game of football, you've no complaints, and then VAR intervenes, it's because you're a howler. That's the way I see it, Robert.
The way it should be. But I think right now a lot of referees are using VAR as a comfort blanket. Oh, I'm not sure. I'll award a free kick, I'll give a yellow card, I'll give a goal. I know it's going to get checked. I'll get a second look at it. They use it as a comfort blanket, and their mates in the wee studio will bail them out and say, you maybe get that wrong. Whether it's right or not, some things are more clear that the referee's made a mistake. They go, look, that's 2 yards offside. That's clear and obvious. That's the way it should be. But things like Fernandez's header, I've always said I think an ex-player should be on a VAR panel, because when you hear referees saying interfering with the goalkeeper, the arm or hand is not in a natural position. What's natural to them isn't the same natural to a defender blocking a ball. You ask a referee, where's their natural position when you're slide tackling? It's not by your sides. When you're jumping, you don't jump with your hands by your sides either.
Right.
So
I get it, mate. I get it. I know. Listen,
it can be better, but it's run by
mate. He's got a theory that any penalty in the box should be any handball in the box should be a penalty kick, and he's rationale for that is to take all the debate out of the game, to take all the refereeing decisions out that it's black and white. It's either one or the other, you know, because he thinks that's what it's going to be. It's a point of view. I don't agree with his point of view about the handball in the box, but I understand what he's trying to do it again. To make it straightforward and easier to referee. You know, I think the game could become, you could have a lot of penalty kicks in a game, you know, but I understand what he's trying to do. But
you look at the Arsene Wenger thing as well that he's looking for. Arsene Wenger's went on for a good number of years now about the offsides, that it should only be offside if the whole body of this attacker is beyond the defender. Not an arm, not a shoulder, the full body. Because it gives advantage to the forwards, because everybody wants to see goals, everybody wants to see attacking football. That would then make the game better. But it's not been introduced yet. They keep having discussions, but that improves the game. It eliminates all these wee fine margins.
I would
you might find you get. Oh, sorry, I do apologise. I love to do it there. I was going to say, you know, the thing about the whole player is in front of the ball, in front of the opposition, then it becomes offside. But you'll get wee bits there where, you know, it's the same as are they offside? Oh, as a scoreable part of the body. You know, that's the way they're running it now. Any part of the body you could score. You know, it's just nonsense. All of it's just nonsense. Anybody that's played football at any challenge level, they know fine well what offside is. They know exactly what offside is. There's no, but you'll always hear the crowds. The crowds will clear, you know, they'll cheer for their own and boo for the other, you know. but the referees are supposed to be the impartial people, and even ones that we totally vehemently just disagree with them. Sometimes when we're watching reruns of it, you think, my God, they were right. But really and truly, there's something no right about the way we're using this VAR. And I would agree with Robert that they get a position in the game, take it back to the basics. What is offside? What do we declare as offside? And the linesman should be lifting his flag immediately. He thinks somebody's offside, get the flag up. Don't wait until they run in there and try to put the ball in the net. A lot of rubbish. Get the decision made on the game, and that's it. Let it go. Sorry, guys, that's being vehement there.
No. I knew it would start for you. I just thought I did that when it came in. I thought it had improved again, but we seem to be talking about referees and VAR more than ever. And maybe it's because of the way the television's using it, and it's easy to have them as issues. But I just don't know if it's improved again. And I tell you who it's not improved again. It's not improved again for the spectators at the football. They don't know what's happening, and even in Scotland, they don't even get an announcement or an explanation for the referee like they've got in England. So the last people who know are the fine public at the game. So it's no work as far as that's concerned. And I believe that the decision last night took over 5 minutes. So it just shows you where we are with the game. It's changed beyond all recognition. But just getting back to our club, it's just important, and I think the momentum's growing. And I think what's important that you'll see. I'm not saying Ibrox will be full for a Scottish Cup tie against Annan, but they'll basically put a minimum 10,000 on the gate with this good run we're on, Robert.
It's not going to be a sellout, mate. A Friday night at Ibrox in probably a pouring rain in Scotland in January is never a great advert.
No.
But there'll be I suppose it's a good chance for some that maybe don't get to many games or can't really get hold of tickets to go and support the club, and they'll as you say, they'll get at least 10,000 easy. Probably maybe 15 at a push, I think.
I think they'll be on that. I think they'll put 10,000 on the gate, mate. I think they might have been about 20 and they'll end up about 30, mate, because of the interest is building, no waning.
I'd like to think so. And as I said, it's just an opportunity for those that maybe don't get along to a lot of games or get a hands-on tickets to go as well. So, but it's it's down to the reason that you're attracting that. It's not a great fixture to look at and say that's a game I'm going to go to, but because of where we are, the feel-good factor, momentum, as you say, it is a good opportunity to go and support the club and support the team. Hopefully see that Chukwani maybe get some minutes as well. So, again, it's just go and support the club as the fans always do. They're always loud and always proud. That's one thing for sure.
I get you. You might be desperate to take your young kid along, but January and a Friday night ain't the ideal, is it? If it's a first game, you could put them off for life.
No, I know. Do you know what I would have done, Knox? It'd have been nice to see as well if they'd done a wee bit of a kind of reduced price thing there, just to try and get people along, especially, as you say, kids and families after Christmas and New Year, financial times. Just a set fee, reduced price to get them in. That would have been a good thing to do. I think it's a good opportunity for that kind of fixture in that game to do it.
I get it, but all you have to pick up the tickets, mate. Take your 30-odd thousand, it take everything, mate. They pay full price.
I know, just a wee incentive thing, do you know what I mean? Just to get people along.
But I get it, mate. I understand, because you've got to look after the supporters, but you've got to try and introduce new supporters because it's a constantly involving ball bridge.
All the way, indeed it is. Indeed it is. But I do sympathise with Robert saying they need to be a wee bit better with the things that they come up with to entice the families back in. I know.
But it's just me, Bridge. But with the triple lock on the pension, mate, I would charge triple for the pensioners and give the young people a discount.
I like that one. I like that one. But no, as long as it's not me.
by the way.
But no,
anybody listening, I'm only joking, Robert. I'm only
Yeah.
joking.
That's all right, mate. I was counting my pennies there. The bridges jar with me.
No, I liked what you were saying. I think the club could make, like, for, you know, I don't know. I don't know what the expected crowd is. Is it Friday night we're playing? I don't know what the expected crowd is, and they should know what they think is going to be and how much. So they've reduced the price. What's the price? Like 20 quid or something like that for the game? Maybe 15. I would imagine that's what it is. But if we could get the kids in for free, it might make a big difference for the next generation of kids coming into Ibrox.
You're right. You've got to think about the next generation all the time. You know, it's partly if you're running a club. You know, and it's difficult. That's the difficult thing about season tickets, mate. You know, there's always a downside to a lot of things, Robert. Yeah.
Aye, there's pros and cons to everything in life. That's the way life is. But again, as I said, I just think Friday night, miserable January night, probably just maybe get a spreadsheet, kids go free, something like that. Just get a lot of bodies in to prepare that next generation. And I'm not saying there's not kids going to the games these days. There's a lot of kids going to games, but that game they would have a lot of kind of fun, enjoyable, out late Friday night, wee McDonald's or KFC, whatever, out with their dad or their mum or any kind of relative. Go to the game, could be a first game for some, and then that's the taster. That's them got it. They're gripped.
I get it, mate. I get it. I'm not saying there shouldn't be packages for the kids neither, Robert. I ain't saying that at all, mate. You know.
That's it's balancing the books, mate. It's balancing everything.
Aye.
Do you think we'll start with a strong lineup on Friday night? Do you think there'll be a lot of changes in?
Friday night, you take care of. Aye. Yeah, mate. Carry on, mate. Yeah.
I'm just wondering how you guys would approach it on Friday night. Whether you make wholesale changes or just a few here and there, get the game won, and then do the substitutes. That's the way I would go about it.
Well, what to learn my lesson, mate. Don't go nuts. Just go and win the game, yeah? You've got 9. Is it still? You still got 9 subs in the Scottish Cup, but if they change the rules, they're different for everything else, which I don't understand. But if you've still got 5 on the pitch, mate, you can have 16 players involved. Go and win the game. Make the substitutions, Bridgeman.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. We as a club, we should not have to worry. Shouldn't in reality have to worry about a team like Alloway. We shouldn't need to worry about it. But we've lost to small teams before. I think now we need to, no matter who it is, we must make sure we go in and just beat them. Get best team you can put on for the first half, and you've got to do all your work in the first half, most of it, and get goals. That's the way it should be. We shouldn't be allowing anything else to happen. Just get out there, play your game, and get the ball in the net, no matter who you're playing, from the bottom to the top. Go out there and do it. And in the second half, it's all yours. If you're up a couple of goals, you feel safe about it. Bring in a few subs, including the younger guys or the new starts or whatever. Bring them in. That's the way I'd do it.
I do think the Trickelmani could start, Robert. I genuinely do think he could start, yeah.
I can see it now. I think that will be one.
Aye. Would you play Butland? There you go. Is that wholesale changes, or would you play Butland? Yes or no, Robert?
No, I'd put Kelly in for this game.
Why?
Just rotation. It's kind of the norm. You usually get a cup keeper, haven't you? So I would probably just give Liam Kelly a run out as well. Give Butland a bit of a breather.
All right. Bridge?
No, I'd play Butland.
Why?
Continuity.
There you go. He's trying to have an arm wrestle and see who wins.
You've got the deciding vote, mate. Butland or Kelly?
Kelly.
Why?
I think it's important you give him a bit of match practice, yeah?
Aye.
Because you might know, depending on the draw, there might not be another game.
Mhm.
But
You've got to keep him
it
ready
with
as
him.
well.
It's a logical, if you're accepting that Suter and Fernandez will play, at Bridges' point of continuities, it's open for debate, Robert.
Aye, you want to keep momentum going as well, but it's a fixture where you probably look at and think you could rest a couple, whether on the bench or not playing at all. As I say, we can't take any game for granted, and we know that from the past. But I just wonder if we would go his full strength 11 to start with, or a few changes here and there. I'd make a few changes just in some positions, and then see the game out, and then make the subs.
All right, I'll turn it round then. Would you play Shermitty?
No,
Why?
he's played a lot of games recently in the past couple of weeks, a lot of minutes. Another game you could look for Miovski, bring Chermiti on.
All right, okay. Bridgman?
I'd go the opposite. I would start Shermitty and give him the first half, and then Miofsky go in the second. That's the way I just look at these. Keep the same team continuity. And you can start to pick ones. And Chermiti has played a lot of games for sure, but you don't want to exhaust that. We'll give him a rest in the second half and put Miofsky on. Let's see what he can do.
Right, fair enough, Bridge, huh? Fair enough. I would think it would be good for Chimity if we could get another goal. I know the opposition's no great, but all of a sudden you're starting to head towards that 10 number, Robert, yeah?
Aye, again, it's just keeping momentum. It's just trying to strike that balance of momentum, but also the workload and the number of minutes a lot of players have played recently in a kind of hectic schedule.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. I get it, mate. I get it, but I think if you use that argument since Christmas, most of the starting 11 for Sunday when they play, would they?
No, but that's the thing. It's just, as I said, trying to get the balance of
Mhm.
some individuals maybe go to the bench and then come on. Other ones start the game and maybe go off. But when you think about it as well, there's not a lot of options in some positions as well. If you look at right mid, for example, Gassama or Antman just back from injury, I reckon Gassama would start out on the right and Antman would come on later on in the game just because he's back from injury. But you look at the ones of Mikey Moore or even at centre back, Suter Fernandez, does Giga come back into a start? Does Giga come on second half? Things like that. It's just some positions and some individuals will probably need to start because of options.
Well, we'll see if anybody's got any knocks or slight tweaks are in, and I don't mean they could play. Or maybe it makes sense, Bridge, yeah, to say, look, just you sit this one out, yeah?
Absolutely, we must look after our players and of course the club. And if that means if somebody's got a knock, and no matter how serious it is or how minimal it is, you've got to take a chance, a gamble, and you've got to let them get it rested, and that's it, done. But if we've not got any knocks, and I mean this, it's got to be honest with each other, The manager's only in. He said, let's say a dozen games, and he's changed it around quite dramatically for us, and we're in quite a good position. And we've got to win this game, right? We've got to win it. Simple as that. There's no other way around it. We've got to win. So he's got to put his, and my opinion, it's only my opinion, he's got to put his strongest team out, minus them that's get any, knocks and so on and so forth. So he's got to know who they are. But if they're all fit, then they should all go in. And then he can work it out in the second half, let him do what he needs to do. Because I'm sure was it 5 or 6 subs or something like that we'll get. and you can split that up, no problem.
Aye. You have got half a team on the bench, Robert, also.
Aye, it's whether they're. Suppose it's sad to say, it's whether they're good enough to go on. I mean, would you bring on Dill and Matondo, even against Stan? I probably wouldn't, to be honest with you.
It might depend. You might not be playing them at all, depending if you're in talks to get them out the door, mate.
Aye, it'd be interesting to
You
see
know,
the
If
match day
nothing's
squad.
happened, you might want to play them to say to teams that, look, we've just played them in our last game, they're ready to roll here. You know what? Yeah.
Mhm.
But if you're in talks and they're progressing, you might be saying, look, we'll not play them because you want them in case they get a knock. You know, so it depends the conversations that are taking place, mate, or I've just been cynical.
No, it's sense, and that's one thing Danny Rale's done as well. Is when players have come back from injuries or they've got knocks, he's been sensible in terms of managing their game time. Sterling, Suter, this kind of examples. So when Bridges talking about there, like knocks and things, he's done everything right so far. So he'll approach the game the same manner as he would whether it's Annan or it was a European game. I just wondered kind of how strong he would actually start. Maybe what I'd say 3-4 changes maybe to start from Sunday, and then win the game, manage minutes for those that need it, and as you say, some conversations might be had with players who could be on the way out, and that could be telling if they're in the squad or not.
Aye. Sometimes you read too much into it, but what I said is, depending if there's talks taking place, a lot of these things don't heat up or bubble to the end of the transfer window. Yeah, I'm not a fan, if I'm honest. I don't think it does any good for football. Because I think that the money doesn't move apart for these periods, and then it's boom or bust. I prefer the old system, if I'm honest. But it was better for the game. But with the Arrow Bridgeman,
Well, I agree. You look at the manager's got to know what's happening in the exterior of it, with all the players within the club that are available to play football. If some of them are actually being targeted, then I dare say that you don't want to spoil it, but not for the club anyway. So you maybe make that, and he can't play, he's injured, whatever. Say what you want, or just drop him. And I mean that in all honesty. But we've got to know that there's been shall we say, there's been somebody in for somebody, we sniff in for somebody. And when you get to that position, then I think everybody would agree that the manager's got the last say in it. Simple as that, and that's the way it'll go. Other than that, as I said, strongest team every time.
aye. Traditionalists would say that Bridges got a fair point, but modern football has changed, Robert.
Aye, it certainly has, mate. It certainly has over the years, and again, it's a fixture that you want to win. You want to kind of put on a performance, an opportunity to showcase some things as well. But it also gives you opportunity to rotate some players some minutes. But I still agree. You start strong. You get the game won, and at half time, if you're 3 or 4 up, then brilliant. Happy days. You can ring the changes.
Aye, especially with 5 substitutes.
Aye, aye.
Who do you think, if you were packing somebody who needed rest, who would be your priority? We've talked about, obviously, the goalkeeper, we talked about centre forward. I suppose before they get injured because of the way he plays the game, Conor Barron would be the always candidate to say, take a night off, son.
Aye, without a doubt. And the thing is, you probably think, I know he's been at the picture, but it's a game where you would have thought Lyle Cameron could have got a shout in there. But again, he's not been involved. So, again, when I said earlier about some players might have to play because of options available to you, midfield is probably one we're still light in, that Raskin, Diamonde, Asgard. If Chukawani starts, then one of them will probably drop out, but one of them is still playing. So it's hard to say who really needs a rest. Probably somebody in that midfield. Raskin possibly. Let Diomande start and have Raskin on the bench, just because he has played more minutes. But again, you might want to work with that midfield of Diamande, Raskin, and Chukwueze, because that's going to be your midfield moving forward. So for a period of time until Barron's back fit. So you might want to just keep that continuity, as Bridge says. So it's a difficult one to try and balance.
Always is. Always is, you know. But we'll see. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what the team is. You know, and if any new player starts or they use them 20 minutes at the end, you know, the traditional 20 minutes at the end, Bridge, man, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Remember friendlies in the good old days, or the bad old days, whichever you want to call them. That would be a good chance to get your reserves in. Let's call them reserves, and you would get a reserves a game. You know, obviously the manager knew what he wanted to do, and then if the reserves were struggling, then they would get them off and put the first team back on. I don't know what kind of position he's in with the people of the substitutes, because they're quite constant and they're coming on at a certain time, and they're getting 20 minutes or half an hour. And I don't know whether that's enough for some of them, but it's certainly enough for the manager. So, but I would like the manager to do what he does. Just wait, you've got to play, and you've got to play and win. And to do that, you've got to have your best team out. In my opinion, got to have your best team out. And we don't want anybody taking the foot off the pedal, you know, because the teams like Annan can turn in and bite you. As simple as that, dead easy. We've done it before, and we'll still continue to do that. We have to be on red alert and go on and do it. Got it done. Please, just pick your strongest time, please.
I think there's a lot of people think that, you know. I don't know if it happens in modern football, Bridge, you know, and it always for the better, mate, when you don't know if getting somebody arrested is a good thing to after the season's finished, mate. You might be in a good run of form, you take him out the team, you put him back in, and you think you've done the right thing, and he blows his form. You just don't know. It's a conundrum, Robert, isn't it?
It certainly is, and that's why Danny Rowe gets paid to make those decisions, and we don't. We'll get your opinion on here. It's good to have these kind of dilemmas, though, for selection. It means you're in a good place and you've got players vying for different positions to get in the squad. Again, it's an opportunity for those who have been on the kind of outside to go and perform, maybe get a goal, get an assist, to give the manager more headaches going forward.
Yes. Yes. Aye. The young boys seem to be getting mentioned, don't they? I mean, you keep hearing that Billy Curtis is going to come on. That seems to be a strong rumour, Robert. And anything else I've really had a sniff under Danny, if we're honest. Even though we're a young side,
Aye, certainly that's the word that's going about, and he'll be going to Kilmarnock on loan, which I actually think will be a good move for him, Ox, to be honest with you. I think he'll get a good couple of minutes there over the 6 months of loan deal that he'd be on. Working with Neil McCann, Billy Dodge, obviously worked with him at the end of last season, so it would be a decent move, get the boy some minutes, because he's got the ability to go and do it, and he's got the potential to come back and be a player for us moving forward in the future. But I mean, you talk about young boys, that we know the state the academy's in. There's nobody coming up. That's the problem, and for me, it's an area of concern that we've got this academy, but we're not producing. So that's something I think we need to look at. Is it worthwhile keeping what we've got, or do we review it and see if there's something we can do to improve it, to develop it, to try and get players through? Because at the minute, there's nobody coming through.
doesn't look like it. I mean, we hear about some of the young boys doing well at 16 years of age, but they're miles out of it, real terms. You know, we'll see what's his space as far as that's concerned, you know. But there's none of them even been mentioned as challenging. By the way, we're a young side anyway. McGomer's still in his teens, I think, isn't he? Jamaica's just 21. Yeah.
I think the average age is like 23.5. I think the average age is quite a young squad. And these signings we're bringing in, Chukawani and Romans are both 22 as well. So certainly players for the future, that's for sure. As long as they can hit the heights and expectations.
Aye, aye. 22, decent age. Bridge, they're no novices, you know.
No, you're absolutely right. I think Fernandez is quite a young age as well, isn't he? He's only
Yeah,
23,
he's only
24, is it?
22, 23.
Yeah, there you go. So I think, yeah, we're right, except for Butland. Butland and Tav. So you can see what's going to happen here. Actually, John Suter's he's 28 or something, isn't he? 29. And DG, is he young? Can anybody remember?
Giga,
That's him.
I think he's about 24 as well, mate.
Oh yeah, he's young. He's on the young side. So there's really only quite three or so players that are on the older side. But if they're in the first team, they're in the first team, and we have to play them. Simple as that. I'm so disappointed. We just don't seem to have someone that can take over from Tav and sustain it. You know, I know we brought somebody in, to be right back, but hasn't set the header, like, you know. That might happen yet, of course, but it just hasn't. So I think we should be looking to buy in a right back. And I don't know whether that right back's going to take the captaincy off the Tav.
I don't think we'll sign a right back. I'll tell you why at this moment. I think we might in the summer, because you could have Aaron's gone, which he's loans up.
Yeah,
I don't think you'd be in that conversation, Robert. Tav's contract could be finished. So you could be right, Rich. You could look to bring one in if the right one's on offer. I think they're more likely to do in the summer, because I don't think whoever come in, Sterling could be back quite quickly, so he could play there. And you know, your same argument as you've got for the centre forward. We ain't short of numbers there. In theory, Robert.
No, you're not. I think Danny Rule was actually asked about the right back area in this window, if he would have looked at that as an option. This is before Sterling got injured, and he said he was happy because he's got, as you said, Aaron's, Tavernier, and Sterling can play there as well. Obviously, Sterling's got injured, but it's only, 2 or 3 weeks, it's stated to be said. So you've got numbers there. Same as up front, you've got numbers. Whereas you go to the other side, we had one left back, we've brought one in. So that makes sense. It adds depth. So there's a lot more positions I think need addressed in terms of depth than striker or right back. The only way I see a striker coming in as well, Ox, is if one goes. I think that's obvious.
Aye. Obviously, because he's not getting a sniff, and he ain't getting a real sniff, is Danilo in it.
It's got to be. Has to be. It's a £6 million signing that's not worked out for him either. I know he's been hampered with some bad injuries and whatnot, but again, it's another one that I think would suit both parties to shake hands, thanks for efforts, get some money in, and look to strengthen in that position if you can get him out the books.
Aye.
I think it becomes quite essential for like say Danilo. He's either got to be playing or he's got to go to the club, because he can't afford to what we could call a £6 million player sitting on the bench, although he's fit. I don't understand why he's sitting on the bench. And when he comes on, sometimes he just doesn't look a £6 million player, does he? So Rangers have got to come up with a plan to move him on. I don't know how long he's got in his contract. Maybe you guys know.
2.5 year, Bridge.
Still got 2.5 years. Oh my
5-year
God.
contract, Bridge.
Oh my God, it's costing us a fortune. It's costing us a fortune. So we need to somehow or other move him on or play him. Either put him in the team and play him for a whole season to see what happens, see if he picks up. But it doesn't look as if he's going to, does it? You know, he looks as if he's when he comes on, he just looks as if he doesn't run. You know, all these kind of things. You know, although he's got pace and he scored goals in the past, and I don't understand what on earth's going on, what happened with him. It's obviously it's a sin with the injuries, you know. and he's never ever recovered. He really hasn't. He's never recovered his fitness. That's what I mean. He's probably free of injury, but he just doesn't get the chance to play, shall we say, top games. And that's what you need to do in that position. You need to play top games. Miovski too. You look at Miovski; he's came up, and I quite fancied him. And when he was with Aberdeen, and I said, well, let him go down somewhere in England and come back up, and we can get him then. But my goodness, it looks as if he's a disappointment. But he's hardly getting a game, if you follow what I mean. So we need to be playing these players. I need to play to show to find out how fit they are. That's the difficulty. Now, I know nobody's going to cure this. This is every team's got the same type of problems with their own players. It's very difficult, and they've got to find a way to do it. Well, Rangers need to find a way, because that boy Shanmitty's come in and he looked very, very unfit. He looked as if he was towing a caravan, and so on and so forth. And now you see him, now he's on top of the world type of thing. So you look at the two who aren't getting a game, and Shanmitty's in front of them. He's only a young lad. And if he can even turn it over, get a couple of more goals under his belt, you just don't know what's ahead of him. And the other two will be left behind. They will be left behind, that's for sure.
Aye. If you were getting one out the door, I think, if you're honest, at this snapshot in time, it would be, if you were ranking them, it would be Danilo first, Miovski second, Shanmitty third. I can't believe I was saying that, because up to a few weeks ago, we were all shaking our heads and said, why did we sign Shanmitty, Robert?
Yeah.
I know, and it's credit to him as well for sticking at it. He's obviously got belief in himself, and Danny Rose trusted him as well to go and overturn a few critics, us included. That again, when he's not scoring now, he's still contributing, because, as I said earlier in the show, he looks fitter. He's doing more running. His hold up play, link up play is all improved over the past few weeks. But you can't argue with your list in terms of who would be able to do a first, because I think it's obvious for me that it would be Danilo in any sense, but more so the fact that he was third choice striker last season. He scored goals in pre-season. He got an important goal at Easter Road, but yet he's still third choice striker. So that kind of tells you itself that he's not really kicked on. We've brought in two strikers who are ahead of him in the pecking order, and a guy who was massively under pressure, massively underperforming, is now the starter, first name in the team sheet when you're doing your front three up front. So Danilo, for me, needs to look at it and go, again, a bit like Rothwell, for the sake of his career, needs to go and look for a move, ask his agent, where can I go? Because I think it works for both parties, mate. But again, that's credit to Chermiti as well, though, because he's come in from the firing line and now hopefully firing the goals in.
If I was Danilo's agent, I think you're sitting here. I don't think you're getting anywhere near the cash that he's getting at Ibrox, because his career's moved on and where he's sitting. And as much as it pains me to say it, I think he'll sit. He'll be a part player, and we'll be still having this conversation this time next year, but he's maybe more likely to leave as you get near the end of his contract, mate.
That goes back to my earlier point as well about the person. As a footballer, do they want to go and play football? Are they happy to accept the money? To me, that's down to the person. That's the attitude. If that's what you want to do, then ultimately they're tied to a contract. We can't just say, no, you're not playing, we're ripping it up. So you've got
if somebody comes in, because he's lengthy his contract, mate, if they offer him a 3-year deal, it's only 6 months more than he's got at our place.
No, I get that. But again,
if you were having a conversation with Danilo and you give him a 4-year contract,
no.
So there's the problem we've got. That contract was mental. Rich?
Yeah, although I must admit I was all for him. I thought he was a smashing player, and he looked as if he could move well, and he was getting a couple of goals. But that the smash he took in his face, just
I don't think he's
Terrible.
ever recovered for that, Bridge.
No, he has never recovered. Never. Many years wearing that one of the masks and things like that. I think his confidence is gone, and there's fear in him. Whenever he goes near to go and tackle something, there's fear. That's what I see anyway. And he needs to be taken out of the first team and played in a reserve league or go on loan or whatever, somewhere that's going to guarantee him a game with lesser opposition, less quality opposition, should I say, and then come back and do the job. We know what that means. We know what it means. It's a long slog, but he's sitting on the bench at Rangers, and that's the wrong place to be. And when you do get a chance and you come on, it's not happening for him, and it needs to start happening. He's got to realise that obviously he's got a contract, and I'm horrified when you're told he's still got 2.5 years to go. But there is no way Rangers are going to have to. They're going to sooner or later. They're going to have to say no. We can't play him. Simple as that. Because he isn't responding the way you expect someone to respond. You know. And that's all down to this injury, in my opinion. Sad.
I think there's parties all quite like Danilo, but if he's just going to be sitting there for 2.5 years, it's a big career on the club, and it was a mistake. And by the way, I think if he's on a 4-year contract, he'd still be on the same conversation, Robert.
You would be. But again, that goes back to errors of old regimes giving out contracts to individuals for far too long than they should have been.
Aye. They get the deals over the line, mate, and then you're stuck with them, for a long, long time. Who's saying Danilo? Is it?
He arrived in 23. I think it was summer 23.
Beal.
Yep.
Aye.
Just on that, mate, I've got a message from AK. Michael Beale signed Danilo, Cifuentes and Ben Davies. Ross Wilson signed Matondo. There's millions squandered right there.
Aye. Look, I don't think it matters who signs them, mate. The hit, some of the, you're going to have failures, mate. You're going to have failures in transfers. But when you give out that kind of length of contract for that wages, mate, you compound the failure, Bridget.
Oh yes, it's like and it's sin because the guys that they brought in and they were quite talented guys, and you wonder what on earth's happened to them. Unfortunately, there's two of them still there, Matondo and Danilo, and both.
Sorry, just quickly. Well, maybe listen to the AK once he can manage to do a full month at his work. Pot kettle on black, carry on, Bridge.
Well, that's harsh.
I was just saying that, following on from what Robert said. Sorry. I'm just following on from what Robert was saying there, and I really feel sorry for him. Two players that I thought were brilliant for us, but if we look at them now, I think both of them got a wee injury, different sites, right enough, different parts of the body. But and I think both of them lost a bit of confidence with the injury. Now, I don't know whether Matondo could actually go and walk into another team and get straight back in. I don't think he could. It's been a long time since he played football. I mean that sincerely, a long time. So he needs to play. He needs to play league football. He needs to play week after week, and I don't think we're going to play him. And it's the same with Danilo. I don't think we're going to play him. And Miovski might be starting to sneak into that again, into that area where nobody wants to play him, because I know we're going to have to pick one and because we've got to be able to, shall we say, break and going wrong with Chamiti. So we've got to maybe coax them a wee bit. But it's really difficult. It's difficult for all the Rangers fans that like these players, and they turn around and say, well, look at them now. Well, look at them now, but they're still taking a lot of money out of the club from a contractual perspective. I don't know whether they could come to an agreement to just here, we'll pay you this off, away you go. That might be the best thing, and I mean that sincerely. That might be the best thing to happen.
Yeah, we've got a few players out of contract this season, but I got to accept AK's point. Some of the recruitment looks poor, you know. Dell, but they played a lot of games with the Roman. You can maybe see the rationale for signing Danilo. Yeah, the reasonable pedigree or reputation, maybe a better word to use, Robert, but it's no panned out, and we'll give him a benefit now. You know, it's starting to be that bad injury on Bertha.
There's certainly factors that contribute to it as well, but the times he has been fit, he has played, he's not showing the levels as we expected, especially for a £6 million player. I mean, we all jumped on Charmiti because of £8 million, but Danilo never get the same kind of attention when it was £6 million. So it just shows you that when there's a figure above your head, there's a lot more pressure on it. But again, just touching on what Bridges said there about Danilo, I've said it umpteen times in the show, mate. He's not a lone striker for me. He needs a partnership, and we don't play that system. So again, he doesn't fit this system, doesn't fit the formation. But it's whether you can get them out the door or not. As you say, 2.5 years is a lot to ask somebody to come and take off your hands.
Aye. I think the best thing would be a loan deal. You know, if you free up a lot of the wages, mate, if you get a loan deal, you know, ideally you would put them on, mate. I just can't see the rationale where somebody's going to come in and sign them, offer them a 3-year contract, and his agent's going to say, by the way, mate, that's a good deal for you. That's $6 million a month work that you've got this now, on less money.
No, I know. As you say, it's a conundrum we're stuck with, unfortunately.
Aye. Mental, really. Mental. Right, Robert, we've reached that time of the evening. Wow, we went through it, doing a few rabbit holes, all right. Yeah.
It was a good show, mate. A lot of points discussed. As I said earlier on the show, it's certainly a feel good factor about the club. Exciting things are happening on and off the park. Sorry. A game on Friday night again. See the players perform, get a result into the next round, and I'm sure these signings and speculations will come thick and fast as well, and hopefully we can start to move a few out the door. But pleasure to be on with yourself, mate, as always, and of course the legendary Bridgeman. Always good to do a show with the Bridge. And exciting times. Interested to see how this develops over the next coming weeks.
Cheers, mate. Always good to talk to you. Bridgeman.
Brilliant show tonight, Oxford, for me anyway, and of course Robert. Thanks for carrying me through it, pal, and the techie boys in the background. Now, can I just say that I thoroughly enjoyed the discussions. They were true, certainly from my perspective, and I believe it would be for yourselves. And we cover quite a lot, but the main thing is we're only interested in the Rangers. That's what we're doing it for. That's why we're saying whatever critique we're given, and that's what it's all about. It's for our team and our club. For me anyway. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world, this here is our team. We've got a big game coming up, biggest game of the season coming up at Ullins. We've got to do it. So everybody, keep it going for the Rangers, because the Rangers really need us, and so they do.
You hear me? Yeah. Can I just... So I'm just checking something. Oh, right, I was just looking at somebody sent me. By the way, if you want to see how bad the referees are in Scotland, if you get the opportunity, I'm not saying the result because people might be watching it later on, but see a tackle that's made at Tynecastle, and if a referee missed that, you think he'd be due his books, VAR to correct it, and you'll see the standard of refereeing. It just happened to be Kevin Clancy, I believe. Listen, thanks to Robert and Bridgeman for doing the true story. Bridge, if you get the chance, have a look. It's in the group, mate. If you want to see it, mate,
I will do, pal.
You'll be surprised, mate. You will not believe it. Robert, I don't know if you've seen it.
I have, mate. Speechless.
I've got to say, it's even a worse tackle than the one on Saturday.
Aye, and that takes some doing.
Listen, thanks to Bridge and Robert for doing the show, Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10 talking about all things Rangers. Take it away, Old School Blue.